The last species is not a crocodilian. Now, I'm not some frontier monster creator that is just going against the contract and saying that the last species isn't a crocodilian and telling you what the last species is. I'm just making a prediction, but these predictions are based on what other content creators have said that do know what the last species is. Now, one of the other big content creators' videos, they mentioned how the last species is something that nobody would be able to guess. Now, I feel like if it was a crocodilian, then we would easily be able to guess it. But because it's a species that nobody's able to guess, this makes it highly unlikely it is a crocodilian. With the Austroraptor and Irritator already being revealed for this pack, these two picks are obviously amazing, and these are two fan favorites. But it seems that this last species is going to be a niche species. Now, this image right here was actually sent to content creators, and it actually shows the species that were revealed for this pack. We can clearly see the Irritator and Austroraptor, and then we can see the final third species on the right. Now, it does seem that this animal does seem to be smaller, and many other content creators have said to not get our hopes up, and that it is less appealing than the Irritator and Austroraptor. So I don't think it's going to be something like the Dinosaur or anything like that. Now, I feel that a crocodilian would have fit perfectly for this pack, and maybe it is still a crocodilian, and maybe they're just saying this to throw us off. However, because of their certain comments, I don't really think they'd be lying like that. But I feel like because they also said it is a dinosaur, that it would not be some sort of amphibian. Now, of course, by dinosaur, they could just be elaborating more and meaning species, as that is easier to probably say dinosaur than just species. However, I think it's more likely for it to still be a dinosaur. With the last two species being dinosaurs as well, I feel like there's more chances for it to be a third semi-aquatic animal. However, for some reason, the Austroraptor isn't able to swim, which kind of sucks. Now that is very, very odd, but I do think that it is very interesting, and hopefully Austroraptor gets swimming behavior added later on. Now, I feel like if there was a crocodilian, this would have made this pack perfect on top of the other two ones. However, it doesn't seem that a crocodilian is going to be the final species. Now, because of this, there are other options that we have to discuss. Now, I think the most likely option is probably Lurdusaurus. Now, Lurdusaurus is a semi-aquatic hadrosaur, and it is one of the most famous and most requested animals for Jurassic World Evolution 3. Now, this is one of the predictions that many people have been making on what these three animals could be, if not considering crocodilians. I do think that that makes a lot of sense. Now, another one is, of course, Pelicanomymes. Now, the Pelicanomymes is another species that people have been requesting, and it is more and more niche. And it has, I do think that this animal does serve its spot, but we have to think of species that really nobody is thinking of. But we also have to try to list off different species that could obviously be in. Now, the next thing we have to think about are some other animals. Now, the Masaicasaurus is another animal that people have been asking for. And again, it is more niche than the others. And obviously, I think it is the most niche that has been talked about in the community. So I wouldn't be surprised if this one gets added. Of course, they did say dinosaurs, but we don't really know anything about this last animal. Now, other animals include, of course, Hyzcoraptor, Edaphosaurus. If we're going to go past the dinosaur medium, it could obviously be some sort of amphibian. Prehistoric amphibians have existed for a long while. Species such as the Kulisuchus, the Diplocalus, they could obviously fit in. And from this image, we can clearly tell that this animal is probably smaller than the other two. So I do think that this is probably some sort of smaller animal, and chances are we're going to be getting this species revealed tomorrow. So I don't really know what is going to be happening with this species. I just wanted you guys to know that the last animal is to not get our hopes up, but we can't really believe that it is going to be some sort of crocodilian. For example, some other ones we possibly could be is Streptospondylus, Baposaurus. There's just so many different species that we really don't know anything about. And I obviously can't wait to see what that last species is. I'm probably a little sad that it's probably not going to be a big crocodilian, but I am just happy that we are going to be getting some big species DLC. And of course, I really do hope at some point we get some prehistoric crocodilians added in to Jurassic World Evolution 3. But that's everything for me. Please let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. What do you think of this animal? Do you guys think it's going to be actually be something against what the YouTubers are saying? Do you guys think they're actually going to be something big? Do you guys think it's going to be something niche? Do you think it's going to be a dinosaur, an amphibian, or some other animal? Please let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. And please provide your predictions. I'm sure there's so many different species I did not list, and I am trying to cover as many bases as possible. And if you enjoyed the video, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. But that's everything for me, and I will see you guys later.